And welcome to Four Horsemen News. This is Sperry reporting from Victoria. Got some news updates here. The number one thing on the news is the truce peace agreement with Israel and the Palestinians. People in Gaza and southern Israel are starting to return to normal life following Wednesday's ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. A number of rockets were fired from Gaza in the first few hours of truce, but Israel did not respond. The Israeli military said 3 rockets were fired from Gaza shortly after the ceasefire came into effect, one of which was shot down by the Iron Dome defense system. It said there has been no fire in either direction since midnight. The UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, says provisional figures reported to it from Gaza say that 158 people were killed there. The figures showed 103 were civilians, including at least 30 women and 30 children and 13 women. The OCHA will now investigate the figures. On Thursday, an Israeli soldier injured in a mortar attack a day earlier died of his wounds, bringing the Israeli death toll to 6. 2 soldiers and 4 civilians. The Egyptian brokered ceasefire agreement came into force at 2100 on Wednesday evening. Under the deal, Israel has agreed to end all hostilities and targeted killings of militants, while all Palestinian factions will have to stop firing rockets into Israel and staging border attacks. Israel must also begin talks about opening Gaza's border crossings and easing restrictions on the movement of people and goods. Okay, Hamas declared Thursday a public holiday to mark what it called a victory over Israel. Yeah, right. Okay, Israel says it targeted 1,500 terror sites during what it termed Operation Pillar of Defense, including 30 senior militants, 980 underground rocket launchers, and 140 smuggling tunnels. The IDF said that for the first time, militants in Gaza had fired long-range rockets such as the Fajr 5 towards Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Okay, next on the agenda, we have from the Roots Shiva 7 News, the poll says Bibi Lieberman still ahead. The Pillar of Defense operation and subsequent ceasefire with Hamas did not hurt Bibi in the polls. The Pillar of Defense counter-terror operation in Gaza and subsequent ceasefire with Hamas did not hurt Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the polls, according to a survey conducted by Major Mohat. Netanyahu has been criticized for agreeing to a ceasefire. Many Israelis call for a larger scale operation targeting Hamas, which during Pillar of Defense fired missiles on central Israel and the Jerusalem area as well as southern Israel. Lieberman defended the decision to end the operation, saying power is not only about hitting, but also about holding back. And again from the Roots Shiva 7 News, Iran. Israel's ceasefire is a sign of weakness. Iranian leaders say ceasefire shows Israel's weak. Hamas tells Gaza Arabs, we won. Despite Gaza's main terrorist group losing huge numbers of weapons and launch sites in Israel's Operation Pillar of Defense, Iran and Hamas have been spinning the week-long battle as a victory for their side. Islamic Jihad chief Ramadan Shella claimed the operation was Israel's greatest defeat in history. It's like, yeah, right. We'll see about that. And next in the news, this is coming out of Europe, and this says the new Euro currency shows woman riding the beast. I'll show you this picture here. Okay, in the Greek mythology, the Phoenician princess Europa was abducted and raped by the king of gods Zeus. But her image will, from next year, replace pictures of windows and doors on Euro banknotes as a security and decorative feature. Portraits have long been used in banknotes around the world, and research has shown that people tend to remember faces Is there any better figure than Europa to serve as the new face of the euro? The chief of the European Central Bank ECB, Mario Draghi, said on Thursday, November 8th, according to Bloomberg. She will first appear on the E5 note in May, with other notes introduced in ascending order in the next few years. Okay, so that's pretty interesting news. And finally, in this news brief, Obama calls on 50 U.S. governors to honor the United Nations. This is from CNSnews.com. President Barack Obama issued a proclamation observing United Nations Day 2012, urging all U.S. governors to do the same. Now, this reminds me of Daniel chapter 3, verses 1 and 2, and I'm just going to read this real brief here. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Kind of suspicious here, or kind of coincidental. I urge the governors of the 50 states and the officials of all other areas under the flag of the United States to observe the United Nations Day with appropriate ceremonies and activities. The presidential proclamation said. October 24th is traditionally the United Nations Day each year. The proclamation praised the often politically polarizing world body that was founded 67 years ago after World War II. And that's what I got for today. This is Sperry reporting from 4 Horsemen News. God bless in Jesus' name.